Cook on Sunday, eat till Thursday. I'm Allie and you're watching Economy Bites. So today we're going to be making an all-American classic Midwestern style casserole with chicken and rice, mushrooms, and bacon. So I found this recipe. Actually, somebody sent it to me. A loyal reader. Oh, sorry, I guess a loyal watcher. I futzed with it a little bit. Just added a couple of things that I like, and I think it's really good. It passed the boyfriend test, which means he ate a lot of it. It's a nice, real, like 1960s style family meal when people still ate together, which we're now bringing back. Because God, that's the way it should be. Family values. Family values, God. Okay. So the first thing I'm gonna do is set my oven to 375. I have already washed my hands. So this is 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. What I'm gonna do is cube it. I'm just cutting it into slices here, about this size, see? Like a scallop. Now I'm just gonna rinse this off to make sure we don't get any E. coli death. I don't know what's wrong with E. coli, but I know it's bad. Okay, so this is just sliced regular old bacon. Let's say 8 slices of bacon. And what I'm gonna do is dice this into small pieces, and then I'm gonna crumble it on top of my casserole. This is like maybe 1/2 inch. So taking my bacon, setting it aside. So now I have a medium-sized yellow sweet onion. Now I'm gonna dice this pretty small. You really need to film yourself having iced tea. Look, I'm Daniel and I drink. We're going to take mushrooms. Now this is 8 ounces of cremini mushrooms. And now we're gonna chop these up just so they're small and kind of bite-sized. Do you remember the big chicken on Animaniacs? They're gonna get their own bowl because we're not gonna cook them at the same time. I'm just gonna chop up 2 cloves of garlic. It's got curves. Real garlic has curves. I don't put it in right with the onion. I like to put it in a couple minutes later so that it doesn't burn. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna start the first cooking step of the meal, and I'm gonna saute the chicken in batches, just a couple of pieces at a time so that they all get to cook evenly. I'm gonna ready another plate for when the cooked pieces. You know, actually I'm not gonna keep this here because last time I did this, when I picked it up it was really hot and I burned my finger. So I'm learning from my past burning. And all we're looking to do is brown them on each side. Put some salt on them while we're here. Just when we flip it and then put it on the paper, we want to let the oil drain away. So now I'm just gonna give them a flip. Kind of hard to maneuver these guys. Definitely do not touch it with your hand. Okay, so these pieces have cooked about 1 minute or 2 on both sides. For my last batch, just gonna add a little bit more oil. So we're just getting it brown. I'm gonna set the chicken aside. Now I'm gonna take my onions. Okay, so now it's about medium heat. I'm just gonna add my onion. Just gonna give them a couple of minutes, nice and soft. And then we're gonna add the garlic and cook for another minute or so. Okay, so these smell nice and cooked, so I'm gonna remove them here back to once they came. We're gonna cook our mushrooms. When they cook, they'll get wet and they'll like release their own water. Salt them pretty heavily through no power of me, all through the power of their own. You're now wet. Shrooms have amazing powers. I'm gonna add them to our onions. Put some oil in that pan, let it get hot, and then we're gonna cook some bacon. Yeah! Chad, Stein, Shalosh. We're gonna break up the clumps. Woo, geez, this bacon tastes good. B-A-C-O-N, that's bacon. It takes, you know, around 5, 6, or 7 minutes. Pouring off some of this oil because I think there's too much. Okay, but this looks nice and cooked to me, so I'm gonna just remove it here. So now what we're gonna do is take 1/4 cup of this chicken stock that we bought at the grocery store. We're gonna deglaze this pan. Then we're gonna pick up the juicy, fatty bits from the bottom. Pouring that in here, picking up these bits. Okay, so while that's reducing, we're gonna pour ourselves another 1.5 cups. And when this has reduced down to like a tablespoon, we're gonna add our 1.25 cups. And we're going to add from the fridge 1/4 cup of heavy cream, 1/2 cup of this, our reduced fat sour cream. And then we're just stirring that around. Give it some salt and a little bit of black pepper. Let's stir, taste. That's good. We're gonna add 1 cup of rice. Now this is long grain white rice. That's what I would suggest you use. I've never made this recipe with brown rice. I'm gonna just mix all that stuff together. And now we're gonna add a generous handful of Italian seasoning, add a couple shakes of paprika. And now we're gonna pour this into our casserole dish. I'm going to take my little pieces of chicken from earlier, and I'm just gonna start placing them on top here. Uh-oh, that one's for the cat. Carefully pour our sauce all over. You know, the rice is gonna soak it up. We're gonna take our bacon crumbles, pop them around. It kind of seems to me a little bit like a holiday recipe. The sauce is good. Now I'm going to take it and pop it in the oven for 45 minutes. All right, okay, let's take this out of the oven. Oh my God in heaven. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple of minutes before I cut into it, just to make sure that it like solidifies. So if you eat this with like a little salad or maybe some broccoli or some asparagus, you have a really good, well-balanced meal. You got your meat, you got your rice, and you got your vegetable. Those are the three things that Mom told you not to forget to eat when you went out and started eating on your own. It is delicious. And this is like a casserole that has a lot of depth. So this will definitely last, I would say 5 to 6 days. And in total, we spent only $26. So depending on your grocery store and where you live, this meal that lasts you about 6 days would cost only 25 to 30 bucks, which would mean it would be between $5 to $6 per meal, which is really good. That's less than you would spend. That's like half a large pizza from Domino's, which is not nearly as good, not nearly as accomplished as this chicken and rice casserole. Cook on Sunday, eat till Thursday. I'm Allie, and I'll see you next week.
These sandals don't match.
I know, I couldn't find 2 shoes that matched, and I figured you wouldn't show them, but now you're showing them. Sometimes you just gotta say, F it. I mean, sometimes you just gotta say, who cares?